Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, it is Tuesday morning. The equities markets are up. The SPX is up 1.5 and the Nasdaq is up almost 2 points. And most importantly as well, look at my screen, the DXY is falling. In this video, guys, we're gonna go over the Bitcoin targets, what this means for Bitcoin with the equities trying to rally, and look at the altcoins, and I added Ethereum as well by request. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into this real quick. That join button underneath the picture here on my video, you can join our Discord trading room right through YouTube, simple as pie. And also, guys, we trade our crypto on BITGET. That link is in the video description, as well as our Twitter. No VPN, no KYC. You only need an email, no country restrictions. I would suggest you trade there. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Guys, this is important on the DXY. And by the way, this structure is what Bitcoin and everything right now is trying to make. You have your Wyckoff structure and you're trying to break out above the structure. And this is what we don't want to have happen for Bitcoin and the cryptos that are doing this. This is a failed breakout. You see this? We hit our Gann line resistance on the DXY. Now, this is good for crypto to get the dollar to come back, but this is what happens. You get a failed breakout and you retrace, okay? I want to show you this as an example because we have these structures right now. We're somewhere in this range being built on Bitcoin and most of the altcoins, and this is what a failed breakout looks like. You re-enter your trading range. This is why it's so important to understand where to long and where to potentially short. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin on the daily. On the daily time frame, we're still, these are daily candles. They take longer to work out here as far as trading range. But you can see 30,000 is a key support level here in Gann, as well as psychological in the crypto space. And we're really struggling to stay above it. Need to stay above it here on the daily. And then we need to get above this Wyckoff trading range at 31,418 and make that exact same type of cup pattern I just showed you on the DXY. Not hit resistance and fall right back into the trading range. Okay, you want to hold it. That's the key. And you can see this much better on the 8-hour, but I want to show you the comparison of the Ichi clouds in these different time frames. I'll make this video quicker today, guys. I know yesterday's video went on. So you can see we have all this space here between price and the resistance cloud, right? And you can see here on the daily, you can see the resistance cloud is descending. That's because we have to work through this cloud on the lower time frames first. So you have all this open space, which is why you can get movement if you become very bullish. Now with the equities markets basically whipsawing the last series of weeks, this is why we haven't had any serious movements up, okay? In other words, whipsawing meaning equities will rally, the next day they give it all up. Now, Bitcoin just did something it's never done in its history, 7 weekly red candles in a row. Now, this is not surprising to you guys who follow this channel or to me because this is the end of the longest bull run in stock market history. And as a matter of fact, equities have been negative for 6 weeks in a row, the first time since 2011. Okay, that's the key thing I want you guys to take away from this video. Most of these people you follow on Twitter, most of these guys on YouTube that have only traded crypto or don't understand market cycles, all of their predictions, whether it's 250K Bitcoin, 500K Bitcoin, 5,000 Ethereum, all of these predictions are based on the backdrop of the longest equities bull market in stock market history, and that's over. That's why their predictions didn't come true. They don't understand the market cycles. I want you guys to understand the market cycles because we are going down here in the short term, okay? With the Fed raising interest rates, Bitcoin and everything's going to struggle. What we're doing on this channel is trading. We're looking for these waves up to trade breakouts and then short them on the way down because Bitcoin will be going down to find a bottom. At some point, the Fed may pivot. I will keep you guys updated as that comes along. Don't want to put too much in one video and overwhelm people, but this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a breakout up, and then when we make a top, wherever that top may be at a key resistance like 34 or 40K, give you guys the opportunity to short, and you can definitely do that in our room as well. So the Ichi cloud is what I want you to focus on here. Now let's go ahead to the 8-hour. 8-hour, because you can see the difference in the cloud. You see the cloud? See how much closer it is to price? This is because the lower the time frame, the closer the cloud's going to be. So this is where you got to work through. Now, this is a bullish pattern we talked about yesterday, okay? You have, I'm turning the magnet off. You have your low. You have, why is this doing this? There. You have your higher low and you have your higher low, okay? And from here, you have your higher high and your higher high. This is the 3 rising valleys pattern. We need another peak, and that peak should come up. We'll most likely hit resistance, like I told you. Come back, it needs to hold support. It needs to hold the support line, which in this case most likely will be 31K, and then you can accumulate here in the cup pattern and pivot out, okay? And very important, this is why I showed you the DXY. This is what the DXY tried to do and failed, okay? You got out, you tried to make your cup. You see how it's trying to make the cup? And instead of holding there, it just fell right through. That's what you don't want to see happen with Bitcoin, but that is a potential possibility, so you need to be aware of that. So looking back here, let me get rid of these drawings. And let's look at the bullish nature of Bitcoin for now. We have the 45 angle. We are staying above it. This is the 8-hour time frame. We have a bullish accumulation pattern, and we're going to be running smack dab into a cloud. Currently, we are fighting the 21 EMA, and as you can see right here, this is the 55. The 200 is a little bit higher up. Now, if we take a tighter wave projection going from this swing low here to our swing high, down to this low, you can see where we're hitting our head, right on the 382. This is a very tight wave projection on 8-hour time frames, but it gives you a closer number here for targets, right? 382 at 31.3, 0.5 at 32.94, 618 at 32.812. And if you go past that, guys, if you look at the daily time frame, this is where I have my larger wave projections, right? So this is that larger wave projection based off this trend, going back to that January 24th candle that we keep tagging up to the 48,266, down to the swing low. This gives you some larger targets, and these targets at the 382 are still 31,185, the 0.5 at 33, the 618 at 34,798. So some of these are in the same range, and other ones are much higher. What I like to do when I'm looking at these different time frames is I basically trade off the 8-hour and daily. I look at the 4-hour, I'll enter trades in the 4-hour, but you got to look at your larger resistances as far as the fibs are concerned. But for scalping and for short-term trading, you definitely want to monitor your shorter swing patterns here that you see forming here on the pattern, okay, or on the candles, because this will give you resistance targets that are closer in line. These are the way to view it is the larger the time frame, the stronger the resistance that appears there, okay? So 31,185 is going to be key to flip. Just like I said, 31K on the 8-hour time frame. You got to flip that, you got to hold that, and you got to move up. And then you got to watch 33, and you got to watch 34,798. And these numbers, very similar, a few $100 difference, okay? And the 618 is 32,812 instead of 34. So just be aware of that, guys. When you're flipping back and forth between time frames, look at your larger time frames. Patterns in larger time frames have more power, and resistance and support in larger time frames has more power because you're looking at larger trends. This is a very small trend on 8-hour candles, okay? So this is still bullish. Everything is the same as yesterday. We're holding this bullish pattern. We'll see if we keep climbing up. We got to get that third peak to complete this pattern, and that third peak is going to roll over and give us our cup. Okay, that's what that's going to do, give us our cup, and then we can look to move up. Now, when you start drilling down here into the 4-hour time frame, look where the cloud is now. I mean, you're hitting the cloud. This is what we were talking about yesterday. So if you look where the cloud gets thin, doesn't have to wait to get over here, but this makes sense. And people have asked me, why is the cloud getting thinner? Because, you know, people say, well, nobody's buying Bitcoin here. Nobody's buying, nobody's selling. That's incorrect. There's always buying and selling. This is accumulation. This is why this is accumulation, because strong hands are taking from the weak hands. And as they do that, the resistance to rise becomes weaker. You see this? It becomes weaker. So this is how you can help time your breakout potential. You may just be waving back and forth here, might come down, test your base, come back up. We do have this trading range here. If you're ceiling and your base, you can go anywhere in here, all the way back down to where we were at 25K, but you want to see this rise back up and break out. Now it can break out earlier here, but you know, most likely I'm thinking this looks like May. Start keeping this really on your radar like May 20th. You see this? When it starts getting really thin, that may be when we see some price action here develop. Because when you look at this on the 8-hour, keep in mind the cloud changes, like I said, right? So May 20th is like the beginning of the cloud here. So that's what I said. You have to defeat resistances on the lower time frames, filter up to the larger time frames, okay? It's going to be the same thing with your fib targets on the lower time frames. You got to defeat these and the near trend here, and then look at your larger resistances as well, because those are very important to understand the health and welfare of Bitcoin. Let's go go ahead and look at let's look at the market really quick. So the SPX is doing what it's supposed to do. We wanted it to break above our Wyckoff trading range. This is exactly what you want it to do. Now, is this the breakout where it's going to try to make a cup? This just could be an up thrust as well. We have to watch this, okay? Meaning that the reaction to this would be to come back down and test your trading range and get a secondary test down here somewhere on the floor. Could just be this Gann line right here. Could come down deeper to the base at 38.58. So we'll see. We could also get a series of up thrusts. And if you do get a series and get a rollover and make a cup, then you're looking to move up already, okay? There's no rule about what candles have to do, what participants in the market have to do. Nobody can dictate that. This is all about buying and selling. That's all trading is. And so if you get bullish sentiments in the market, whether it's because of news, macro events that are outside your control, you can break out of these ranges quickly, or you can just make an up thrust and descend. Okay, so we have to watch that. That's why I said the key here is follow through. You need follow through. NASDAQ doing the same thing here. It's just testing the upper part of the range, which again, your reaction could just be to come back down and test the bottom part of the range. So something to pay attention to. Let's go ahead and jump to ADA. ADA is still holding the exact same pattern I showed you yesterday. These are 8-hour candles, so the only thing that's changed is you got a few more candles, but you're doing the exact same thing. You're making your 3 rising valleys pattern. You have your base, your first peak, your higher low, your higher peak, and you're trying to form a third higher low here. And if you can hold that and get a higher peak, that peak should roll over. That's at 60 cents, guys. You want to hold 60 cents as your support. And if you can hold it and accumulate and get volume breakout, volatility breakout, that would be your move up in ADA. And again, just like with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin quickly turns around at like 32.9, watch your alts because they're going to dump quick too, okay? This is why going against primary trend can be very dangerous because you don't know what kind of rally, if there is a rally, the strength of that rally, because in the primary trend, it is down, okay? But the purpose of these is to be able to trade, if you so wish to do so, a potential breakout. But the real money, let's say ADA comes up to 80 cents, the real money is when Bitcoin does start legging back down, you're going to get much bigger retracements because that's your trend. Your trend is down, okay? And let's look at SOL. So just looking at SOL, same exact thing as ADA. I mean, this is what I'm telling you guys. Most of these alts are lining up the same. Base, higher low, trying to make a third higher low, peak, higher peak. Need to make a third higher peak. So same thing here with Solana. If it comes out above 57, may hit this resistance at 60. If it keeps this bullish accumulation, it may end up making some type of pattern like this, like the cup pattern. And you want to see that accumulation. And if Bitcoin breaks out, you may get Solana breaking out just like the other alts. But just like on the DXY, guys, just like on that DXY, if these all come up and hit resistance and that resistance pushes them right back down, you're going right back into your trading range, just like you did on the DXY. So you have to be very mindful of your stops, very mindful of your entry, okay? Don't take higher risk trades on, don't trade a breakout in a primary downtrend unless you're not willing to be actively manage your trade, okay? Definitely watch your risk levels, take profits, everything like that. And of course, this is the 5 and 21 EMA. You can use them in these setups as part of another confluence when you get a bullish cross and you get your base. This could be an opportune time utilizing your indicators as well, tracking Bitcoin to see if you will have a breakout in market movement. Now, Ethereum can do the same thing here. We have a nice demand wick on the selling climax candle. And let's go ahead and throw this on the reaction, which is right there. This gives us our Wyckoff trading range. You see that? So your trading range is 1775 on the base, 2145. You can see you had up thrust here into your trading range and you descend it from that. But just like Solana, just like ADA, you are holding your higher low structure, higher low, and here's your higher low, and you have your higher peak and your higher peak, okay? You need that third peak, and that third peak should give you the cup if it holds, okay? And that may dip back down into the trading range. You can dip back down into the trading range. The key is to keep your higher low structure. That's the point, is you got to keep the higher low structure. You got to keep the higher highs in trend as well. get that cup, and then that's how you get your pivot out, okay? But just like with everything else, and I know I'm repeating myself, but you have to be very careful, guys. They all follow Bitcoin, okay? Because I don't want you to get into a trade and the DXY, just like the DXY did, it hits its resistance. Maybe this is 2,300 for Ethereum and then just falls right back down. So actively manage your trades, use stop loss, use take profit targets, and don't just put everything into a single trade. But these are all still setting up. As you can see, they still have steps to complete. They still need candles to come up. They're still setting up. And at any given time, if Bitcoin just falls apart, any one of these can fall back down. And that's 15 minutes again. I tried to keep it short. I apologize, guys. But definitely follow us on our socials, our Twitter. And by the way, guys, the bots and things and the comments, I spend 30 minutes a day deleting them, okay? We don't ever give out a WhatsApp number. We don't message people on Instagram or any of these other social medias. We have a website, marketmakers.trade. We have a Twitter. And you can follow us on that Twitter, go to our website, and of course we have our Discord channel where we actually have a community and trade. So ignore all that other stuff. It's all scams and spams, and that's not from us. And have a fantastic Tuesday, everybody. Take care.